All right. Awesome. Mark, love for you being here today and appreciate your time and, you know, coming on and talking about Boostly, your business. Like I was just saying right before, I know a lot about Boostly. I've been following you for the last 4 or 5 years. Well, I've been in this industry and over the times, just seen so many people that you've collaborated with and that you've been able to help out with your business. And so I feel like I've been doing a dishonor to my clients, not letting them know that there's a service out there. Maybe it's in another country, but all the same, it's the same industry that you're able to help individuals stop relying on maybe one or two different platforms. And so, if you could just maybe a little talk about Boostly, your business, and how you are helping property managers, hosts, owners better their business.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me on. Absolute pleasure to follow up Jack and Maddie as well. So it's a pleasure to be on. Yeah, my name is Mark Simpson. I'm obviously with the accent. I'm based over in the United Kingdom. I'm one of these rare breeds where I was born into hospitality. So my parents ran and owned a 200-acre farm, and this farm had 14-bedroom guest house and 3 holiday cottages. And I grew up like being surrounded by people all the time. You know, it's weird because I was just so used to having strangers in my kitchen. When I went to go play at friend's house, I was looking around the house like, where is everybody? It's so quiet here. But yeah, that was me. I was making pocket money before school, doing breakfast, changing beds. And then at the age of 20, 21, I was like, right, I want to escape my little village. I want to escape. I want to get out. Funny enough, I came over to your part of the world and I was coaching soccer. And I pretty much did that from 2002 to 2008. And it was 2008, flew back to the UK. Me and my friend were in a pub and I was like, right, Scarborough, my little town is too small for me. I need to get to a city. So we went to London, worked there for a few years. And then eventually my mum and dad dragged me back to the farm with my now wife and my eldest. So I've got 4 kids and he was the eldest, Alfie. And we worked in the business. It was all about getting the family business upgraded to the 21st century, basically. My job was to get it on Facebook, on Instagram, get it on all of the socials. They didn't even have a website, so I created a website. They weren't on any other platform, so it was like helped them get on Booking.com and Expedia and Airbnb. And then we just started to just apply all these offline things that we had learned over the years and did it online, and it worked really well. And then 2016, I read a book by Tim Ferriss called The 4-Hour Workweek, which you may be wary of, and it changed my life massively. I realized that there's these things called virtual assistants. And I was like, oh, wow, you can hire virtual assistants. So we did that. It was amazing. And through that role, through hiring, I was able to sack myself from the family business. And that was when I started to help other hosts. I started this little Facebook group called the Hospitality Community. That was in 2016. And it was literally just going to be for Scarborough, my little town, Scarborough, famous by the Simon and Garfunkel song, Are You Going to Scarborough Fair? Which is an old school shout out. But the way that the Facebook world works is that if something is hitting, it'll spread it to everybody. And in my group, when I was like, people were requesting to join, I was like, people are from Scotland and Wales and France and Germany and America. And before I knew it, was like 1,000 people in that group. And that was sort of like the light bulb moment of, oh, okay, there could be something here. And that's when Boostly was born. Yeah. Nearly 9 years later, we're a worldwide brand. We've got, we've helped thousands of hosts. I've published 2 books, part of a Hospitable Hosts book. And we've got just under 1,000 clients now all around the world, all different niches. Doesn't matter if 1 property or 100 properties. And, the whole aim of it is to give them the tools, the tactics, and the training and the confidence to increase direct bookings and cut down the reliance on Airbnb. That is what we've been doing, and it's been a mad journey.
That is an incredible story. Actually, I had no idea that that was your background, and that's how you came into the short-term rental industry, that you were like born into it. That's insane.
Yeah.
And so from your perspective, you probably, because it's all second nature to you, but when you now, and you're able to see the pain points being in it, when you talk to individuals now and tell them to go direct booking, what's the biggest like pushback you hear from them that they can't do it, that you're like, oh my gosh, like I know why you think that, but this is the reason why. Like, what's the biggest holdback why someone wouldn't be doing direct booking?
It falls down to like education. It's always time, money, knowledge, right? So I haven't got the time, I haven't got the money, I haven't got the knowledge. And, you know, it amazes me because, again, I'm a rare breed. I was born into this industry, but so many other people fall into it from other careers. Maybe they were business owners in another career, or maybe this is like the side hustle that's taken off, or they've done something and come in. And from every other industry that is out there, you have to market and sell your business, right? With CanMonkey, there's no, you know, listing site that you can go and put your business on that's guaranteed to drive you revenue. But in the hospitality industry, you know, we have this crazy thing where we create memories. That's the core of what our industry is. And because of that, it's in massive demand, right? It doesn't matter, even if it's a global pandemic, people want to go on vacation. And because of that, you've got Airbnb, Booking.com, Vrbo. And, you know, depending on your market, depending on the time of the year, you can be pretty much guaranteed to start a business, list it on Airbnb, and, you know, get bookings, revenue, right? There's nothing like it. And because of that, it's a blessing and a curse. Like, it's a blessing because it is so easy for revenue. It's a curse because people get complacent and they get reliant, and then they get lazy, and they just go, you know, I've got to spin all these plates to start a business. That plate over there that's just spinning, that's the marketing one. I'll just do Airbnb. And then the problem is, what happens when that plate stops spinning? And to me, when I speak to people and I go, well, you know, you've got to prevent that eventuality that plate will stop spinning. And don't worry about it, Mark. I've got an Airbnb. And, you know, 2017, 2018, 2019, they were saying that 2020, when that plate started to wobble a little bit, they were like, oh, direct bookings. But then obviously 2021, 2022, it got pretty decent again. But now 2023, 2024, 2025, when things are starting to correct itself, people are realizing that they can't just rely on one platform. And, you know, the main thing when it comes to me is knowledge. It's like, oh, I didn't even know there was a thing called a property management software tool. I didn't even know I could connect a Stripe account. I didn't even know that AirCover wasn't available elsewhere. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I wrote the book Direct Playbook and the book Direct Blueprint. And, you know, when those books came out in 2022, I think that's when they're like, I always look at hockey stick moments for Boostly. And I feel like that was a main one. That's when I started to get invited to speak. That's where we met, obviously, over in Nashville, and those sort of events and Bigger Pockets events. And yeah, it's amazing when I come over to America that the kickback that I get. But after doing this for many, many years, I've got my stock answers ready to go to give them back.
What's the biggest tip that you have for someone then when they are looking to migrate or try it, but then they have the time, money, or energy? Like, what's your biggest tip to say, hey, I can understand that. This is what you need to do first?
Yeah, so the first thing I say to everybody, and I wrote about it in the book Direct Blueprint, is you got to get a PMS, property management software tool, because when everybody starts, they'll have their account on Airbnb. Okay, so you've got your listing on Airbnb, your account on Airbnb, and they make it so easy. And again, I'm not slating Airbnb. You know, I love the platform, love the story, but their marketing team do not get enough credit. They make it look so easy to start a business on just Airbnb. And so what most hosts do is they have one, and they may get hold of property number two, whether it's through owned, arbitrage, or management model. And then what happens is they'll go, okay, so I'd like to go on Vrbo. So what happens is Airbnb go, no problems, you can connect your Vrbo account to Airbnb via an icon. And the problem with that is that you're building everything on Airbnb's land, right? So what happens if your listing gets suspended, your account gets shut down, you lose everything. So the most important thing that you have to do is you have to go and get a PMS, property management software. Now, the good and bad news is that there are over 1,000 different PMSs to choose from around the world, which is a crazy amount of choice. If you were to go into any Facebook group and if you were to ask the question, which PMS should I go with? Out of 10 people, you'll get 10 different answers, right? It's just how it is. So what we did at Boostly, we did a blog post. We interviewed hundreds of hosts. We did pros and cons, and we put a blog post up on our site. And if you'd like that link, it's boostly.co.uk/P for Peter, M for Michael, S for sugar. We list off the top 10. Go pick one. There's lots of choice out there. But that is the key place to go to, because when you've got a PMS, what it does, it connects your main hub, which is your PMS, to Airbnb. It'll connect it to Vrbo. It can connect it to Booking.com. But it also means that you can connect it to Stripe, so you can take payments. And it also means you can connect up to, CanMonkey and Boostly. And that's your core hub of where you will start to go every single day. And I always say that's the best place to start.
And I saw today you posted, I think you have 24 of those integrations now. So you basically, when you're talking to someone, you're probably already connected with one of their PMSs, but if they're not, do you have one that you kind of, or there's one easier than the other, but once, or is it once they're in, you're integrated with these PMSs, it's all the same once they get into the PMS?
Yeah, so the reason why we did that is obviously we do website design. And there are loads of website designers out there, and you can pretty much go on Fiverr and find somebody probably in India or Pakistan for $200 and they'll do one for you. But the problem with that is that they're building it on WordPress and then there's no connection into the PMS. And so when you want to set up your website, you've got to copy and paste everything from your PMS onto your WordPress website, right? And that can become laborious, right? There's no connection. It's a broken booking system. It looks crap for the guest and it looks bad for you. So when we first got going, we started to get hosts come to us who had 20, 30 properties, and it was taking us hours to do. And so we went to Guesty and we went to them all and said, can we connect up? And they all said no. So we built it anyway. And we did it through like numbers. So we had a lot of people and they all went to the PMS and said, right, connect to Boostly. And for us, it started off as scratching an itch. But what we realized is that we're building something pretty powerful and it's become our USP because there's no other website designer in the industry, in the world, that has got 24 connections. We've got some that connect to one or two, but we connect to 24. And it is really becoming our sort of our USP. And we have people come and sign up to Boostly now, even if they don't want the training help, they just want to sign for us because we've got that integration, which is pretty cool.
And then from that aspect, once you're, because you said something earlier about Airbnb, which I just heard and kind of really, even though I've been in this industry, I really didn't think about it, but Airbnb is just like a marketing website, and that's where I think they do a good job of making it feel like you're right. They do make you run your own business and you have to be reliant on them to do it, but you necessarily don't have to. And that's what you're kind of giving them the freedom back to where if someone does book through them and find them through Airbnb, which is still great to partner with them, but now the second and third time they're going through the direct booking. And so are they able to keep that track? Is that the like metrics you guys give back to them so they can see on their end like the conversions and what they are now getting from where they were before?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you're right. I mean, Airbnb is a lead generator. It's just a lead gen tool. I look at it the same way that I would look at Facebook ads or any other form of marketing that we do. And it's not the be all and end all. It is just a marketing tool. One of the reasons why I put together the Book Direct Playbook, you can maybe see it on the shelf just here, is I had 101 tips that I was using for Granary, which is the family business, but also showing other people to do as well. And there's so many ways that you can actually have a listing on Airbnb, drive traffic to that listing on Airbnb, and then divert them to your direct booking website. And yeah, 100%. Once they come into our world, we install analytics on there so you can see conversions, how many people visit, just like you get on any other WordPress site. We're not shy to say that we use WordPress because it is the best content management system that is out there. I think it's used by 42% of the total websites in the world use WordPress. And we've got a theme on there that is really, the framework just works time and time again. And we're able to show real clear stats and all those cool things. And we're always tweaking it. We're always refining it. At the moment of recording this, so January 2025, we're upgrading all of our customers, just under 1,000 people, to our 3.5 version, which is the gateway to 4.0, which is going to launch basically Boostly Connect, which is going to be massive, what we can then do with that technology. So yeah, it's exciting. It's really exciting what 2025 has to sort of store for the direct booking movement, Boostly and everything else.
That's amazing, and congratulations on that. Because I know that at the top of every mountain is just the beginning of the next mountain. So even though you've been around for, you said 8 going on 9 years, I'm sure at the same time your business is nowhere where it was before, and it's always evolving. So I know you have 4 kids. Is Boostly your 5th child? That's what I know from me being a dad of 4. I always
Yeah,
say
man,
CanMonkey.
pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and this one definitely talks back as much as the kids. So yeah.
Well, you talking about how that's kind of going into your 2025. Before we end off this, what were your projections or predictions for 2025? And I know you've probably been shouting from the mountaintops about Boostly. Do you think that this is the year that people are kind of going on and say, you know what, I need to go on my own and get this direct booking if they don't have it? Do you think, what are some of your predictions on
Yeah,
the industry,
I
but
mean,
also like what you think.
I'd
Yeah.
like to think so. I'd like to think so. There's 690,000 hosts in America that have under 20 properties in their portfolio, and Boostly's only really touched 2,000 of them. So there's a lot to go. I'd like to think that more people become aware of what direct bookings means, not just hosts, but the general public as well. And it might not be this year, but definitely next year with the rise of AI and AI assistants and AI agents that will start to do the work for people. I mean, at the moment, it's just like a very small minority of people who know what AI agents truly are. When they start to get more embedded into these Apple phones, when they start to get more embedded into Google phones and Alexas, where you can pretty much open up your Alexa or your Apple Siri and it'll go, I want for you to find me a place to stay in Arizona, Scottsdale, Arizona, that you know everything about me for my wife and kids over like for 2 weeks. And it goes and does it. And the computer or the AI or the robot or the tool that you're using will have no brand allegiance, right? It doesn't care if it's got a nice shiny red logo or blue logo or wherever it's looking. It's just going to go and find the best place to book at the best price, at the best rate for you. And, it's going to bypass everything and it'll go straight to your direct booking website if you have the best price on your direct booking website. So for me, I think that is going to really kick off the book direct movement, which I think will be awesome. And hopefully we'll be in the right position at Boostly to be able to be that guide to go, right, this is how you do it. So yeah, we're just doing everything that we potentially can to be ready for that moment.
My perspective, you are like the godfather of the direct booking. I feel like you're the first one that I've seen with the hashtag and promoting it, and that's been my perspective. So
Thanks, man.
I didn't know about what it really was until about you. One more question. I remember having a conversation with someone once, and you kind of touched on it earlier about the air cover, but I had heard from someone that had, 20 some properties that one of the biggest reasons why they didn't do direct booking, and I think their mindset has changed now from a previous conversations a while ago, but I'm sure you've heard this from other people, but they thought that they wouldn't be able to get insurance or air coverage if they weren't with Airbnb. Have you heard that before? And if so,
Yeah.
like what is okay, so that's not true, or
So
just
yeah, it's mad, right? And in 2021, Clubhouse just massively took off. And I was seen to be on Clubhouse a lot. And I was always sort of navigated and sort of gravitated to these Airbnb rooms. And, I would sit in the audience and I would listen to people talk. And, eventually I'd get called up on stage for whatever reason. I've got this accent maybe. And, I would sit there for a few hours and I would talk about direct bookings. And the main kickback from everybody was this air cover. And I was basically saying, air cover is just marketing. That's all it is. There are so many third-party tools that not only do better coverage than air cover, but they give you more money. And as well, you've got to always remember is that Airbnb are only going to look after one person, and that's Airbnb, right? And if you've got a insurance or guest protection or host protection service, it is going to benefit one person only, Airbnb, right? So you want to make sure that it is a third party as much as possible. So Superhog is one, Safely is one, Proper Insurance. There's loads of them now. And I feel like I've been banging the drum enough that more and more people now are aware of it and definitely tapping into it. And I'm getting much better results, getting much more payout. There was some rumors going around, I don't know how true this were, that those hosts that put claims in through air cover at a large amount, they were getting sort of ghosted on the algorithms on Airbnb, which makes sense. If you've got one customer who is claiming time and time again on air cover, why would you show their properties off to get more bookings? Because at the end of the day, you're having to pay out more, right? So sense. It just makes so much sense that you take away any sort of bias or any sort of thing that would affect your overall ranking on Airbnb from something as big as insurance and guest payouts and host protection.
That's actually a very solid point. And I'm glad you cleared that up, because I think from like this one conversation I had with someone who had 20 some properties, a successful business, you would think they had no idea at the time. So, and Mark, I appreciate that you are a wealth of knowledge. If someone's looking to get some more information from you or to contact you or find you, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
So the website is boostly.co.uk, boostly.co.uk. Do go check that out. If you want to come and say hi it's Instagram is the best. So it's at Boostly UK, BOOSTL.
Thank you, Mark. And I appreciate, again, your time and your knowledge and dropping some nuggets for those that maybe had some questions about direct booking, what it was, or how to even, make the first step into it. So I do appreciate your time and helping them. And again, if anyone needs his information, it's mark@boostly.co./UK, and they'll find you. We'll put that in here as well. Thanks
Nice.
again, Mark.
Thank you very